but we'll put a sticker on the little golf cart and say it's kosher for Shabbat. Why? We'll find a way to figure out what HaShem. We know Shulchan Aruch. Like Yonatan Levi Machshimo from California. He tells the people, you want to know what's kosher for Pesach or not? Just ask me. Don't look at the label. He has a whole web page about this. He tells people, just ask me what's kosher for Pesach. Don't look at the label. Meaning that every single person that's following him right now is going to get din karet for Pesach. Every single one of the people that follows him is going to get death penalty after death penalty the entire Pesach, HaShem Yachem. Why? He says, don't look at the label. I'll tell you if it's kosher. Not only kosher, kosher for Pesach. It's bad enough you tell him if it's kosher or not kosher without a label throughout the whole year. Needless to say, it's much worse for Pesach. Because if you violate kosher laws during the whole year, it's horrible, but not death penalty. If you violate kashrut on Pesach, it's death penalty. It's karet. It's karet. No, he's got big shoulders. He's got big shoulders. Takes everybody's karet on himself. Rabotai Yekarim, Nadav and Avihu were Gdolei Ador. Hashem says, you missed the point. With all the Torah that you have, with all of the uncles and the father that you have, you missed the point. You had an ego that was too big. You decided that you're going to do things your way. Not allowed to drink wine before you go into Kodesh Kodashim. You said you're going to drink wine. Why? Because you're using it for mitzvah. You're using it for mitzvah, so therefore it's allowed. You're not going to get married. Why? Because nobody's good enough for you. Nobody's good enough for you, so you're not going to get married. You forgot that you're still human. You forgot that your Torah is worthless without a wife. You forgot that a man cannot fulfill the mitzvah of Purbu, the first mitzvah of the Torah, without a wife. You forgot that a wife is the reflection, Ezer Kenegdo. She's the reflection. She's going to either help you or destroy you, based on how you treat her, based on what your Torah you have. You cannot fulfill the will of Hashem being single. For all those guys that are delaying their wedding, delaying their shidduch because they want to learn more. Mistake of mistakes. Why? That's not Retzon Hashem. That's not Retzon Hashem. Chazal says the Torah that you learn before you get married is almost worthless in comparison to the Torah you learn after you get married. Almost worthless. In practicality and in spirituality. But where does it come from? Big ego. That's also the reason why instead of saying, when are the Gdolei Ador going to die? They said, when are the Gdolei Ador are going to die so we can take place? Instead of, what? Maybe we should ask the Gdolei Ador what they think of what we just did. Maybe we should ask the Gdolei Ador, maybe we should ask the Rabbi what we should do. Maybe we should ask the rabbis what we can do. You're celebrating that they're your uncle, that your father, they're the rabbi, you go to the shiur, everything. Why don't you ask them some questions and listen to what they say, not what you want to hear. But you can't. Why? Because the root of all ego is the fact that you don't want to listen to anybody. The people that don't want to follow Torah because they claim to know too much, they don't know too much. In fact, they usually don't know anything. They don't know anything. They just know enough to get them a death penalty. But they don't want to listen to anybody because their ego won't let them, because they can't allow themselves to think that somebody else read the same book as them, but got a lot more out of it. They think that they read the book and the rabbi got the book. They both have the same book. Therefore, they arrived at the same conclusion. This is 100% ego. And it's as far from the truth as possible. You can read the Gemara, any Gemara you pick, 1,000 times. Your rabbi is going to read it 1,000 times. It's not the same. It's not the same. It will never be the same. Why? He's the rabbi. Hashem gives him chokhmah to make him the rabbi. Assuming he has Yirat Shamayim and so on and so forth. You're never going to be like him. Why? That's why he's the rabbi. You may be a Talmid Chacham, you may be great, but everybody needs to have a rabbi. And if you do not have Emunat Chachamim, it's only because you have ego instead.